playing on Fan TV. It's a 2-0 loss against the Crew, who beat us finally in the regular season. It's highly annoying, all of it, really. You know, the unplayable conditions in the second half, really getting blindsided in the second minute, really, in the in the beginning of the match. So it's, not great, Bob.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, like, the unplayable conditions were in the second half, but we got scored on 2 minutes in. I mean, like, and it's like Tito Villalba is tracking back, like all the way back, which I hate seeing. You know, one of your forwards is in like 10 yards from.
It is good from a work rate sense, sure.
From a work rate sense, but then it's like, what is he actually accomplishing? Because then like the ball gets recycled, and like Perez and Nagby aren't marking anybody in particular, and that ball goes into, was it Higuain? And who makes a run, and then so it's just like, what happened there? And I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, like, these results keep piling up, and every game you go into with some optimism, but it's like, how can the fans be expected to continue to be optimistic when the team keeps playing like this?
Yeah.
You know? So.
Well, I mean, there are concessions for this match. It is very hard to be, really too critical or really analytical, really, after this type of match with these conditions. But yes, the fact is that we conceded two, and arguably, a very loose, maybe third for, the penalty chance. But just really shoddy defending for those chances.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, the second one, I think Escobar was rusty. You could see it. You know what I mean? And this is a tough game for him to come back in. They were talking something about like the soft conditions, I guess, and like with working back from muscle,
Sure.
Whatever. But yeah, on that second one, like he gets sucked in, and then his man is gone, and it's pretty much what happens. And then Zardes is again, but there's like 3 or 4 defenders in the middle, and Zardes. And somehow he's alone. Yeah. So
it seems to me like there's a lot of ball watching / maybe guys are missing their assignments, or really actually just not really knowing what they're doing on the pitch because the instructions maybe not clear. Who knows?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because like they've had the time off, so then you're thinking like the attacks maybe again. Yes, hard to move the ball around, but look, Columbus moved the ball around just fine, and Columbus looked like themselves. Like Columbus has had an identity for years now. They've, they keep the ball fairly well. They're a more structured team, and they counterattack well. And they looked like themselves, even though they have a new coach. Atlanta looks nothing like themselves.
Yeah, and that's the little bit of back and forth comparison in terms of Caleb Porter. He persisted with what they were good at, which was keeping possession and playing triangles and moving up the pitch, pass and move. DeBoer, I'm not really sure what he's persisted with us. It's been difficult to see, any sort of cohesion from, the prior regime for us, but, you can see that for the Crew.
That's the thing. It really feels like a rebuilding year more and more. Like, even coming into this game, you know what I mean? Like,
those are not words I want to hear, the third year after,
You don't,
right after we win MLS Cup, too.
You don't, but the fact is, like, we've crashed out of Champions League. We now have 2 points from this is our 4th match, and like, okay, the 2 away matches were played in terrible conditions, but the 2 home matches we didn't do shit. We scored like 1 goal in each of those games.
Probably about 10 chances created in those 2 chances, or 2 home matches. So yeah,
and it's like.
It is. I know what you're saying. It's very, it can render one speechless for sure.
And like, so today's game, like with Columbus countering and like having the 2 chances that they score on. Okay, but then
ruthless, and then Stefan stands on his head as he does. But usually we still at least get some goals in past him.
But that's the thing too, and like with the possession style, like the idea is that those counterattack chances don't happen. But I think like even though the stats say only Columbus only had the 2 chances, I think in their heads, or if you look at how the game plays out, there are multiple counterattack opportunities. You know what I mean? I think like Columbus always knew they were going to get their chances, so even though they only got 2 chances, I think they always knew they were going to get those 2 chances. And I think that other teams see that as well. Philadelphia came out of the came out of the second half and scored early. Right. Columbus comes out in the first half, and then after the break, after that delay, they come out and score. So it's like something about like, you know, it seems like other teams like are like, okay, this is what we can do, this is where we can hit them, and then do it. And it seems like Atlanta's not able to impose themselves.
Yeah. Are there positives that we can take out of this match, or is this match a wash? No pun intended. And if there is anything to grab from it, we have 2 weeks now to kind of let this just simmer, not really even simmer out, just let it boil our blood, maybe.
I feel, you know, yeah, I've been reflecting a little bit. I feel like this could be a Toronto type of moment. You remember going back to Toronto, Garza played 60 minutes. That was his first game after a long layoff, and he ended up being key. And we've talked a lot about Escobar, and he played 60 minutes. Yes, he was a little bit rusty, but he was going up and down the wing. I think he's going to be a key player. I like what I'm seeing from Barco. PD has a couple weeks now to get healthy, get rested, and he's raring to go. So I mean, like, I'm optimistic. I mean, like, I'm always gonna have hope with it. And this team is too good to be playing the way they are. Right. You know, and like, look across MLS. So like, Red Bulls are struggling. They were Sports Shield winners. Right. Portland's struggling. They were in the MLS Cup with us. When now you have like LAFC and Seattle and Dallas and all these teams doing. Not Dallas. DC. Yeah, doing well. So, I mean, Atlanta's gonna have a tough time defending their cup, but at the same time, it's early, and I'm hanging in there.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.